So I want to ask you, it's quite confusing to some people because some have already labeled you biased. Some have said Senator Mig Zubiri is pro Sara Duterte. In fact, a story done by RG Cruz, no less, our senior correspondent, says that you have claimed that the impeachment trial against Sara Duterte is a witch hunt. So if you are claiming it's a witch hunt, why are you taking the stand that the trial should continue? And
The question,
but
Karen,
how
let
could,
me,
wait,
yeah.
how could people believe that you could come up with a just and fair decision? Go
But
ahead.
the impeachment, Karen, impeachment is a political process. You're asking, we're not judges. I'm an agriculturist, a licensed agriculturist.
But
I'm
you
not
are
a
a
lawyer, but
senator judge in an
yes.
impeachment court.
But that's why, as a senator judge, we may have our biases, but we should proceed with the process. In other words, let us get the evidence. I've said this many times. I may be biased because I'm from Mindanao, but the witch hunt was actually asked me by the media. They said, is this a witch hunt? And that's where I reacted. Yes, for me, if you ask me this, in my opinion, it could be a witch hunt because they're trying to get rid of the number one candidate for 2028. Okay? But RG did not add the but to my statement.
No. RG
But,
didn't say this. I want to be fair to RG. This is a
yeah,
headline on ABS-CBN.
yes, yes.
It's a header. RG's story is quite complete. Go ahead.
Yes, yes. But my point is, I said, but we must continue with the process and listen to the evidence at hand. And therefore, I am open to listening to all the evidences, Karen. That's the difference between me and those who want to outright dismiss it. Do you understand?
Okay,
So
yeah.
I am willing to listen, no, to the evidence at hand and come up with a fair judgment later on. Pero my punto is, if you ask me personally, I think really they just want to get rid of the number one candidate for 2028. But with that said, I'm open to the prosecutors presenting the evidence and let us ask them, litisin natin, pag-usapan natin. I want to ask them about the evidence. I want to ask them also, Karen, that is this intelligence fund only unique to the vice president or the president? No, it is also unique to all the LGUs in the country. From Quezon City, Makati,
But
all the LGUs to Apari to Holo.
I don't think the fund itself is the issue. The issue is how she used the fund.
Correct.
So
But
I wanted
the
to ask
question,
you,
kasi, Karen, is how she used the fund. But many LGUs, you think they're very saintly in their implementation also of the intelligence funds.
but
So
then that doesn't
they're
make
also
it
hundreds
right.
of millions, Karen, even
But
more
that
than
does not make it right. That does
No,
not
correct.
make it right.
That's right.
Your argument does not
Correct.
make it right.
But my point being is, because they could be misusing it as well, why don't we get rid of the intelligence funds or these confidential funds altogether? Altogether for all LGUs and all other agencies that are utilizing this, Karen. My point is, we're singling out one, but there are thousands that have the same fund. So my point there is, I'm willing to listen to the arguments because maybe in aid of legislation, we can learn from this experience and maybe rid the country of this intelligence and confidential funds that are given not to intelligence communities, not to our armed forces, but actual civilian local government units.
Okay, all right. But do you believe, just make this short before we go back to
Yes.
online gambling, do you believe the vice president should explain, or were you at least curious with what has come out in the House hearings of names that were in the receipts, like Mary Grace Piatos, names of fruits? People, didn't you think as a senator that there were possibilities of corruption in that whole process of
Karen, as former Senate president, we had access. They always give the president, they always give the Speaker of the House and Senate President access to all these confidential funds. So much so that I opened it up to Senator Risa and Senator Coco and to my colleagues who wanted to see all these documents. Because pumuputok na yan na wala pang away, wala pang gulo yung Marcos Duterte, wala pang away. But Senator Coco wanted to see this. We opened it up. We looked at it. according to the intelligence community, according to people who are actually using confidential funds, they never put the names. They never put the actual names because of the
Okay.
idea that it's
All right.
confidential. So they never put the actual names. Now, what the prosecutors have to tie in is, number one, are these actual recipients? And if the vice president can actually show a list of the actual recipients. And number two, did she benefit from the funds? They have to prove that she pocketed the funds, Karen. Now, in the absence of that, I'm keeping an open mind. So my point being is, we just have to study and continue with the process and look at the evidence at hand. But my point being is, why just single out her? Let's get rid of the fund for everybody else. Because maybe we should look into this deeper. Maybe the ombudsman should look into this deeper, not only to the vice president, to the president, but also to everyone else who has confidential funds from Apari to Holo in all the local government units, Karen. I know them saying this. I might be ostracized by and vilified by my friends in the local government units, but it's true. They have confidential funds in many, if not most, local government units all across the country. So maybe we should look into reforming that use of that fund.
Okay. All right. So as we close, let us now go back to the bill you filed for a total ban on online gambling. You filed the bill. What happens now? I mean,
We'll
take
push
us
for
through
it,
the
Karen.
process. Yeah.
I mean, I
Will
think I
this
have the
be
support of
heard
my
in the
colleagues.
Senate? Yeah, go on.
We'll push for this in the Senate. We have counterparts in the House of Representatives.
Yeah.
Many congressmen have filed also measures similar to this. Now, we have to really make sure that we take this out to the public, let the public know. I'm trying to seek support from the public on this, Karen. As I said, it's a very difficult fight. We're going to be fighting oligarchs. We're going to be fighting billionaires. Even politicians, because some politicians own some of these platforms. And it's going to be a tough fight. But I'm doing this for my kids, Karen. I'm doing this for your children and my children. I want them to come up or grow up in a society that is free from the scourge of all this addiction, no drugs, gambling, easy gambling. We are just now looking for the quick fix. Every time you want to make money, pusta na lang tayo, baka manalo tayo. And that is what we're trying to change. The Philippines, I love our country, Karen, and I'm really so frustrated. Why can't we increase our number of tourists? Why can't we make our flights cheaper to Siargao? Why is it more expensive than going to Taiwan or to Hong Kong? There's so much frustration. Dadagdagan mo pa ng scourge ng gambling. And everybody, imagine you have 20% of the population playing on their phones, gambling every day, losing their hard-earned income. It will drop our consumer spending. It will drop our economy. Trust me, Karen, if we do not control this now, it will drop our economy, because our economy is surviving through OFW funding and through consumer spending.
Consumerism, yeah. So actually, that's the interesting part about what you said, is I wonder if there's already a study linking less domestic spending, right, for families, the normal that was spent, because they're spending it on online gambling. But to close, Randy David wrote this opinion article, and I think it's quite interesting, saying this is clearly no longer about gambling. It's about what kind of future we are being conditioned to accept and who profits from our distractions. It's about the ethical ecosystem of our increasingly digital economy, what we choose to promote, what we choose to flourish, and what we turn a blind eye to. So in the end, I really ask you, do you think President Marcos Jr. would have the political will to ban this? That's really the question here.
Yes, I totally agree with you. But if he does, I salute him. If he does, I salute him. He's looking at the future of our country, the future of our children. Imagine we're tackling the problem with education. Yesterday, you had Senator Angara with you. Imagine the lack of classrooms and the difficulty of getting the lesson plan to our children. And now you have a problem of gambling, or they're going to be gambling every day. They might no longer go to school. That is the future of the Philippines that I'm worried that might happen to us, Karen. So if the president steps up and says, let's make a honest to goodness study if we should ban online gambling for the future of our children. He mentions that in the State of the Nation address. I'll be the happiest camper ever. I will stand up and give him a standing ovation, and I will be so happy to oblige and do the hearings for our bill to finally rid ourselves of this scourge of accessible online gambling that is being played by our adolescents, by young teenagers, all the way to grandparents who no longer have disposable income to spend on their families.
All right. On that note, thank you very much for joining me today, Senator Mig Zubiri. Thank you, sir.
It's always a pleasure to be with you, Karen. Mabuhay po tayo lahat.